Hello and welcome to Mastermind with me, Clive Myrie. In the spotlight tonight are Gillian Burgoyne, a retired psychiatric nurse whose specialist subject is the saxophone. Dean Ward, a chartered accountant who will be answering questions on Margaret Thatcher. Marianne McKillop, an English teacher. Her subject is the supernatural television series Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And Daniel Howard, an investor. His specialist subject, venomous snakes of Africa. From thousands of entries, they've made it this far, the heats of Mastermind. But you don't take on the ultimate quizzing challenge to be satisfied with that. The semi-finals are the next stop on the road, and none of our contenders want to get off the bus. They're in it for the long haul, with a laser-like focus on the famous bespoke Mastermind glass bowl. Who will it be that goes through to the next round? 2 minutes of specialist subject questions and 2.5 minutes on general knowledge will decide. So let's ask our first contender to join us, please. And your name?
Gillian Burgoyne.
And your occupation?
Retired psychiatric nurse.
And your specialist subject?
The saxophone.
The distinctive wind instrument in 2 minutes. Starting now, a small museum dedicated to Adolphe Sax, who invented the saxophone in the mid-19th century, is located in his hometown in which country?
Belgium.
Yes, in a journal article of 1842, which French romantic composer predicted a great future for the instrument he called le saxophone when he was invited to review Sax's inventions in Paris?
Berlioz.
Yes, tenor and soprano saxophones are usually tuned to the key of B flat, whereas baritone and alto saxophones are normally tuned to which other key?
E flat.
Yes, which musician was a leading composer, performer and recorder of saxophone pieces in the ragtime style in the decade following the end of the First World War, with pieces such as Saxarella and Saxophobia?
Pass.
In which city in Indiana did a company named C.G. Conn produce what's thought to be the first saxophone to have been made in the United States?
Elkhart.
Yes, what was the name of the musician who played the memorable alto saxophone solo on Jerry Rafferty's 1978 hit single Baker Street?
Raphael Ravenscroft.
Yes, what name is given to the part of a saxophone that clamps the reed to the mouthpiece?
The ligature.
Yes, which influential baritone saxophone player joined Duke Ellington's orchestra in 1927 and remained as a mainstay of the band for 47 years?
Lester Young.
No, Harry Carney. The free-playing jazz saxophonist Ornette Coleman embraced liberation from the restrictions of harmony, melody and rhythm and gave what name to this avant-garde concept?
Free jazz.
No, harmolodics. Which alto saxophonist wrote the hit Take 5 for the Dave Brubeck Quartet and described his own tone as trying to sound like a dry martini?
Paul Desmond.
Yes, in 1960, John Coltrane extended which song from The Sound of Music into a 14-minute long track featuring his soprano saxophone solo?
My Favourite Things.
Yes, what was the name of the German musician born in 1907 who fled the Nazis in the 1930s and settled in New York State, where he gave masterclasses when not performing at concerts around the world?
Sigurd Rascher.
Sigurd Rascher it is. And Gillian, you had one pass. The musician who was the leading composer, performer and recorder of saxophone pieces in the ragtime style, Rudy Wiedoeft. And at the end of that round, Gillian, you've got 9 points.
Thank you.
And our next contender, please. Your name?
Dean Ward.
And your occupation?
Chartered accountant.
And your specialist subject?
Margaret Thatcher.
The life and career of the politician who served as UK Prime Minister from 1979 to 1990. In 2 minutes, let's go. Margaret Thatcher was born in Grantham in 1925. What was her maiden name?
Roberts.
Yes, Thatcher became an MP at the 1959 general election when she won with a majority of more than 16,000 votes in which constituency in North London?
Dartford.
No, Finchley. Early in her time as Prime Minister, Thatcher oversaw the conclusion of what agreement named after the London mansion where it was negotiated, which brought about the independent state of Zimbabwe?
Lancaster House.
Yes, Lancaster House Agreement. Which businessman was appointed by Thatcher when she first came to power to head an efficiency unit to scrutinise the workings of the civil service and eliminate waste?
Derek Rayner.
Yes, in a landmark speech at the 1980 Conservative Party conference, Thatcher adapted the title of a 1948 verse play by which dramatist when she declared, "The lady's not for turning"?
Christopher Fry.
Yes, what was the name of the teacher who challenged Thatcher about the sinking of the General Belgrano during the Falklands conflict on Nationwide in the run-up to the 1983 general election?
Diana Gould.
Yes, during the miners' strike, Thatcher was furious when a moderate union representing pit deputies felt provoked into voting for strike action. This union was known by what acronym?
NUM.
No, NACODS. With which Taoiseach did Thatcher sign the Anglo-Irish Agreement?
Fitzgerald.
Yes, Garrett Fitzgerald. Thatcher had a minor operation in August 1986 for a condition named after which French military surgeon who, in the early 1830s, described the surgical procedures needed to alleviate it?
Pass.
Margaret Thatcher died in 2013, aged 87, while living in which London hotel?
The Ritz.
Yes, in a 1987 interview, for which publication did Thatcher comment that there was no such thing as society, saying there are individual men and women and there are families?
People's Choice.
No, Woman's Own. In her July 1989 cabinet reshuffle, Thatcher removed which politician from his role as Foreign Secretary, demoting him to Leader of the House and Deputy Prime Minister?
Jeffrey Howe.
Yes, in which Soviet Army newspaper did the reporter Yuri Gavrilov dub Thatcher the Iron Lady? I've started, so I'll finish. After she gave a forthright speech about the Soviet Union in January 1976.
Pravda.
No, it was Red Star. Dean, you had just one pass. The condition she had was named after the French military surgeon, Guillaume de Puitren. And at the end of that round, Dean, you've got 8 points. And our next contender, please. Your name?
Marianne McKillop,
And your occupation?
English teacher.
And your specialist subject?
Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
The American supernatural television series about a teenage vampire slayer and her friends. In 2 minutes, let's go. What collective nickname for Buffy and her friends is used by Xander in the episode What's My Line, Part 1, and is a reference to a Hanna-Barbera cartoon?
The Scooby Gang.
Yes, in Harvest, Giles, the school librarian, discovers that Sunnydale is built on a portal between realities that was known by the Spanish as Boca del Infierno, which he says translates roughly as what?
The Hellmouth.
Yes, the show's theme tune was performed by what band who appeared in the episode Empty Places?
Nerf Herder.
Yes, which cult of vampires whose symbol is a sun and 3 stars was prophesied to bring the anointed to the master?
The Order of Aurelius.
Yes, in the Vampire Spike's first episode, he takes issue with another vampire who claims to have been present at the crucifixion and says that if every vampire who said they were there actually had been, it would have been like which event?
Woodstock.
Yes, which actress plays Faith, the Slayer who gained her powers after her predecessor Kendra was killed by the vampire Drusilla?
Eliza Dushku.
Yes, in Real Me, when Giles becomes the owner of the magic shop, Buffy questions the wisdom of this and says most magic shop owners in Sunnydale have the life expectancy of what?
A chocolate kettle.
No, a Spinal Tap drummer. What's the name for the rite of passage undergone by each Slayer on reaching the age of 18, in which she's stripped of her powers and placed in a room with a vampire?
Attento de Cruciamentum.
Yes, which fear demon, known as the Dark Lord of Nightmares, is accidentally summoned in the episode Fear itself, although when it appears, it's very small, so Buffy treads on it?
Karash.
No, Gaknar. The final episode of season 5, in which Buffy gives her life to save her sister, ends with a shot of her gravestone. What's the title of this episode?
The Gift.
Yes, in I Only Have Eyes for You, the ghosts of 2 lovers who died in 1955 possess Buffy and Angel to recreate their final moments. One of the ghosts is called James. What's the name of the other?
Grace Newman.
Yes, in Once More with Feeling, which demon causes the people of Sunnydale to sing about their inner feelings and sings to dawn, something's cooking, I'm at the griddle, I bought Nero his very first fiddle?
Sweet.
Yes, it is sweet. And Marianne, you had no passes, and at the end of that round, you've got 10 points.
Thank you.
And our final contender, please. And your name?
Daniel Howard.
Your occupation?
Investor.
And your specialist subject.
Venomous snakes of Africa.
Snakes that produce venom either to kill their prey or for defense. In 2 minutes. Let's go. Which species of the genus Dendroaspis is generally acknowledged to be the longest venomous snake native to Africa, with some specimens exceeding 14 feet in length?
The black mamba.
Yes, what alternative name for the carpet vipers refers to the lateral scales which they rub together to create a hissing sound in their distinctive threat display?
The saw-scale viper.
Yes, which sea snake is able to swim both backwards and forwards, but moves clumsily on land when it comes ashore, as it occasionally does on the eastern coast of Africa?
The yellow-bellied sea snake.
Yes, what's the name of the genus that comprises all 7 species of night adders, which, contrary to their names, also hunt during the day?
Causus.
Yes, what name is given to the toxins present in the venom of some burrowing asp species, which constrict the coronary blood vessels of their victims and cause angina?
Cardiotoxins.
No, saxophone. Which species of mamba, first described by Thomas Traill in 1843, is named after a professor of natural history who once taught Charles Darwin?
The Jameson's mamba.
Yes, which well-camouflaged species of viper with the scientific name Bitis arietans is often said to be Africa's deadliest snake, as it's responsible for the most human fatalities?
The puff adder.
Yes, one of the species of spitting cobra is named after which coastal country in southeastern Africa that forms part of its range?
The Mozambique spitting cobra.
Yes, the snakes known as twig or vine snakes are unique among African snakes in that their pupils are horizontally elliptical and commonly described as being what shape, giving them binocular vision?
Keyhole.
Yes, the Kenya montane viper is known only from 2 isolated populations, one in Mount Kenya and the other in which range of mountains?
Ethiopian mountain.
No, the Aberdare Mountains. Which small adder, named after a French-born entomologist, is endemic to the Namib Desert, a region of low, infrequent rainfall, and is known to drink droplets of condensing fog from its scales?
A Namakwa dwarf adder.
No, the Peringues adder. Trapp's garter snake. I've started, so I'll finish. Can be distinguished among African garter snakes because it has only 6 of what type of specialized scale, whereas all the other species have 7?
Ventral.
No, the upper labial. And Daniel, you had no passes, and at the end of that round, you've got 8 points.
Thank you.
And at the end of the specialist subjects round, let's have a look at the scores. In joint 3rd place with 8 points each, Dean and Daniel. In 2nd place with 9 points, it's Gillian. And in 1st place with 10 points, Marianne. So now the general knowledge round, and if there's a tie at the end, then the number of passes is taken into account, and the person with the fewer passes is the winner. And if they're tied on passes as well, there's a tie break. So let's ask Dean to join us again, please. So, Dean, you start with 8 points. You've now got 2.5 minutes on general knowledge. Let's go. What's the usual name in the UK for the fuel known to Americans as gasoline?
Petrol.
Yes, in the name of the animal welfare charity, the RSPCA, the letter P stands for what word?
Prevention.
Yes, the son of John Lennon and his first wife, Cynthia, who has had UK hit singles entitled Too Late for Goodbyes and Saltwater, also has the first name John, but is known professionally by which of his middle names?
Bono.
No, Julian. Which national park in the Rocky Mountains is the home of a geezer called Old Faithful?
Yellowstone.
Yes, which French former finance minister was appointed as the first female managing director of the International Monetary Fund in 2011 and as president of the European Central Bank in 2019?
Christine Lagarde.
Yes, which corrosive acid has the chemical formula H2SO4?
Sulfuric acid.
Yes, which basketball player led the Chicago Bulls to 6 NBA titles in the 1990s?
Michael Jordan.
Yes, which actor plays the shepherd Gabriel Oak in the 1967 film adaptation of Thomas Hardy's novel Far From the Madding Crowd?
Laurence Olivier.
No, Sir Alan Bates. In the UK, circular road signs give orders and rectangular road signs provide information. What shape are road signs that give warnings?
Triangles.
Yes, what Latin word for farmer was the name of a 1st century AD Roman statesman, general and governor of Britain?
Agricola.
Yes. What 1994 UK hit single by Blur includes the lyrics, I get up when I want, except on Wednesdays, when I get rudely awakened by the dustmen?
Bed-shaped.
No, Parklife, Animal, Gonzo and Beaker are characters in which American comedy television and film franchise?
Muppets.
Yes. What's the name of a hand of 13 cards in bridge or whist, which includes no card above a 9?
Trick.
No, Yarborough. Which cheese made from cow's milk is named after the Swiss valley where it originated and is similar in appearance to Gruyere, but has more and larger holes?
Emmental.
Yes, in Disney cartoons, what's the name of Mickey Mouse's yellow-coloured pet dog?
Snoopy.
No, Pluto. In mythology, what name from the Greek for oak tree was given to a wood nymph or spirit who took the form of a beautiful young woman?
Elf.
No, Dryad. In 2020, Tony Hall stood down as Director General of what media organisation, having succeeded George Entwistle in the post in 2013?
BBC.
Yes, which Italian tenor made his Covent Garden debut in 1902 in Rigoletto and his American debut the following year in the same opera at New York's Metropolitan Opera House?
Pavarotti.
No, Enrico Caruso. And your time is up. And Dean, you had no passes, and at the end of that round, you've now got a total of 19 points.
Thank you.
And next up, it's Daniel. Daniel, you start with 8 points. The score to beat, as it stands, is 19 points. And you've got 2.5 minutes of general knowledge, starting now. The Japanese national flag has what coloured disc on a white background?
Red.
Yes. What name was given to the major fundraising concert organised by Bob Geldof and Midge Ure that was held simultaneously in London and Philadelphia in July 1985?
Live Aid.
Yes. At which 1314 battle did Scottish forces under Robert the Bruce defeat the army of King Edward II of England?
Battle of Bannockburn.
Yes, which former managing director of Birmingham City Football Club, who was made a life peer in 2014, joined the television series The Apprentice in 2010 as one of Lord Sugar's advisors?
Karen Brady.
Yes, what name is given to the former naval punishment in which a crew member was attached to a rope and dragged beneath the ship's hull through the water, then pulled up the other side?
Planking.
No, keel hauling. In April 1968, the Academy Award ceremony was postponed for 2 days because of the assassination of which American civil rights leader?
Martin Luther King.
Yes, in netball, the letters GS on a player's bib indicate which position?
Goal scorer.
No, goal shooter. Which American writer who spent much of her life in Paris wrote the 1913 poem Sacred Emily, which includes the line, "Rose is a rose is a rose is a rose"?
Emily Scott.
No, Gertrude Stein. What do the letters VR stand for in a term for a computer-simulated image or environment with which users are able to interact?
Virtual reality.
Yes, in what 1958 film, the first in the Carry On series, does Bob Monkhouse play a reluctant National Service recruit?
Carry On Soldier.
No, Carry On Sergeant. Dorney Lake, which hosted the rowing events at the 2012 Olympics, is privately owned by which public school in southern England?
Eton.
Yes. The 1918 book, Eminent Victorians, about the lives of Cardinal Manning and Florence Nightingale, among others, was written by which member of the Bloomsbury Group?
Wordsworth.
No, Lytton Strachey. Which German politician, described by Time magazine as the Chancellor of the Free World, was chosen as its Person of the Year for 2015?
Angela Merkel.
Yes. What term describes a triangle where 2 of the 3 sides are of equal length?
Perpendicular.
No, Isosceles, the fashion designer with the surname Garavani, who was born in 1932 in the northern Italian town of Voghera, is known professionally just by what first name?
Armani.
No, Valentino. The songs The Worst Pies in London, Not While I'm Around, and A Little Priest are from which Stephen Sondheim musical based on the tale of a murderous barber?
Sweeney Todd.
It is Sweeney Todd. And Daniel, you had no passes, and at the end of that round, you've got 17 points.
Thank you.
And let's have Gillian again, please. So, Gillian, you start with 9 points. The score to beat, as it stands, 19 points. You've got 2.5 minutes on general knowledge, starting now. In a phrase derived from one of Aesop's fables, someone who repeatedly raises false alarms is said to cry...
Wolf.
Yes. What common name is given to the cluster of cells on the human tongue that identify flavours such as sweet, salty and sour?
Papilla.
No, taste buds. The large brown bear known as the Kodiak bear is named after an island off the coast of which American state?
New York.
No, Alaska. Marcel Stellman, who died in 2021 at the age of 96, was the creator of which long-running television quiz show adapted from a French series entitled Des chiffres et des lettres?
Countdown.
Yes! The little red-haired girl is the unrequited love of which cartoon character created by Charles Schulz?
Lucy.
No, Charlie Brown. Prince Richard, a grandson of King George V and first cousin of Queen Elizabeth II, inherited which dukedom from his father in 1974?
Althorp.
No, Gloucester. In a change to the official rules of table tennis in 2001, the minimum number of points needed to win a game was reduced from 21 to how many?
11.
Yes, in a series of novels by Janet Ivanovich. What's the name of the former department store lingerie buyer who becomes a New Jersey bounty hunter?
Jean Rees.
No, Stephanie Plum. Which Spanish city's main airport is designated by the international code BCN?
Barcelona.
Yes, the name of which branch of medicine concerned with the causes and effects of disease is derived from Greek words for disease and word?
Epidemiology.
No, pathology. What's the name of the highest prize awarded at the Venice Film Festival?
The Palme d'Or.
No, the Golden Lion. The region of Antarctica known as Queen Maud Land is claimed as a dependency by which Scandinavian country?
Norway.
Yes, which member of the Borgia family was the daughter of Pope Alexander VI and was implicated in the crimes of her father, although it's now thought that she was more likely an instrument in his plots?
Lucretia.
Lucretia Borgia, yes. The word pom is short for the name of what small breed of dog?
Pomodore.
No, Pomeranian. In 2019, who became the first English footballer to be named UEFA Women's Player of the Year?
Peggy Brown.
No, Lucy Bronze. Which Irish playwright, who set many of his works in the fictional Donegal town of Ballybeg, wrote the 1990 play Dancing at Lunasa, which was made into a film starring Meryl Streep?
Paddy Boyle.
No, Brian Friel. So, Gillian, you had no passes, and at the end of that round, you now have 15 points.
Thank you.
And finally, it's Marianne again. So, Marianne, you start on 10 points, the score to beat to get through to the semi-finals. It's Dean's 19 points. 2.5 minutes of general knowledge starts now. In a common expression, to act recklessly is to throw caution to the what?
Winds.
Yes, what's the usual name for the early style of bicycle, sometimes known as the ordinary, that was noted for its large front wheel and small rear wheel?
The penny farthing.
Yes, the holiday resorts of Bodrum and Marmaris are on the Mediterranean coast of which country?
Turkey.
Yes, topside, brisket and silverside are cuts of which meat?
Beef.
Yes, what two-word term originating from the 17th century was the name given to the allowance voted for by Parliament to meet the expenses of the British monarch until it was replaced in 2012 by the sovereign grants?
The Royal Charter.
No, the civil list. In the 1990s, which actress appeared on television with Harry Enfield playing characters including Waynetta Slob and the teenage boy called Perry?
Kathy Burke.
Yes, what 1949 novel by Paul Bowles follows an American couple, Port and Kit Moresby, as they travel through Morocco after the Second World War?
Trip to Morocco.
No, The Sheltering Sky. Which entertainer who died in 1961 was known for playing his ukulele and for songs such as When I'm Cleaning Windows and Leaning on a Lamppost?
George Formby.
Yes, the concert and conference venue named the SEC Armadillo, designed by the architects Foster and Partners, is in which UK city?
Glasgow.
Yes, the Doolittle raid in 1942 was a surprise attack by US aircraft on which capital city?
Paris.
No, Tokyo, a 2012 film adaptation of what jukebox musical featuring 1980s songs by bands such as Def Leppard, Bon Jovi and Journey includes appearances by Tom Cruise, Alec Baldwin and Russell Brand?
Back to the 80s?
No, Rock of Ages. A prenuptial agreement is a legal contract made between two people in advance of what event?
Marriage.
Yes, their wedding. In November 2020, the Hollywood actors Rob McElhenney and Ryan Reynolds bought which National League football club based in North Wales?
Welsh Wanderers.
Wrexham, the left-wing Spartacist revolt of January 1919 was a failed attempt to overthrow the government of which country?
Britain?
No, Germany. Which American singer had a UK #1 with her eponymous 1988 debut album featuring the single Fast Car and topped the chart again with her follow-up album entitled Crossroads?
Beyoncé?
No, Tracy Chapman. On which mountainous peninsula in the far east of Russia were 6 volcanic areas collectively designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1996?
The Volga Peninsula?
No, Kamchatka. Which constellation and sign of the zodiac has the alternative name The Bull?
Taurus?
Yes, which television comedy series, first shown in 2015, I've started so I'll finish, is about the relationship between 2 supermarket employees called Kaylee and John, who drive to and from work together?
Car share?
Yes, I'll accept. It's Peter Kay's car share. And Marianne, you had no passes, and at the end of that round, a total of 20 points.
Thank you very much.
It's a tight one. Let's have a look at the final scores. In 4th place with 15 points was Gillian. In 3rd place with 17 points, it's Daniel. In 2nd place with 19 points, it's Dean. And in 1st place with 20 points, Marianne, which means that she goes through to the semi-finals. Congratulations to her. Now, if you would like to be a contender in the next series, please go to our website, bbc.co.uk/mastermind. And as ever, you can follow us at Mastermind Quiz. Join us again next time for more Masterminds. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.
My specialist subject was Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I used to love watching it when I was at university, and in recent months, I've started rewatching it with my 12-year-old daughter, Catriona. We love the fact that it turns some of the horror movie tropes on its head, and you've got a wisecracking female hero, so what's not to love?
Most magic shop owners in Sunnydale have the life expectancy of what?
A chocolate kettle.
No, a Spinal Tap drummer.
I found myself smiling in the black chair because after all the preparation, here I am. It was easier just to smile and enjoy it than to sit and worry about things. No point in getting anxious at that point. Just have fun.
And at the end of that round, a total of 20 points.
Thank you very much. I'm really not a quizzer. I like to answer questions when I'm sitting safely on the couch at home, but I've never taken part in quizzes in any organised form. My husband convinced me to apply, and I'm really glad he did. Well done, Barry. Good choice. So I would have to say, if anybody else is thinking, well, I don't really quiz, but I'd love to give it a go, give it a go.